Hey guys, it's Margaret. It's probably the first month that you guys are thinking about snow. It certainly is for me because I grew up in Wisconsin where it snows maybe 80% of the year. I love snow, I love making snowmen, and I love all of the memories that I associate with snow. So I knew I wanted to make my December theme all about snow and snowflakes. But before I dive in, making thousands of different snowflakes all across my bullet journal spread for this month, make sure to subscribe to 17's YouTube channel so that you don't miss out on any of our future bullet journaling tips and tricks. The first page in this monthly setup is going to be my opener, which is always the same for all of my monthly setups. The first thing I did was write out the word December in the middle of my spread. Then I drew snowflakes all over the spread in a diagonal formation starting from the top left page and moving down the spread to the bottom right-hand page. I then colored them all in with different blues, purples, and greens. The next spread in my December setup is going to be my monthly spread. The first thing I did was draw 30 boxes that were about 5 boxes wide and 7 boxes tall. And then I gave each box a highlight at the top with a different color given for each column. As you can see, I made a little bit of a mistake in the 5th column that was supposed to be purple, and I accidentally colored the first one with the same green. But bullet journals are not meant to be perfect, so I'm gonna let it go and move on. I'm definitely a perfectionist when it comes to anything bullet journal related or really anything in my life, so it took me a long time to figure out how to move on from small mistakes that I would make in my bullet journal. So this little mistake I made with the color is going to be a little bit hard to deal with, but I'm going to move on and let it go. Next, I wrote the number for each day of the month in the bottom right corner of each box. And for the last box, I also made a slight mistake, so I had to white out, but I'm going to divide this box in half with a diagonal line and put the number 30 in the top left corner and the number 31 in the bottom right corner. Then I'm going to label each column with the day of the week. So first column I started with was Monday, and from there I wrote the days of the week all the way to Sunday. Next, I drew 2 large boxes in the space to the left of the calendar for my notes and my goals. I gave each box a highlight and gave the highlight a pink color, and then labeled the first box with notes and the second box with goals. After that, I wrote December in a faux calligraphy font and decorated all of the surrounding area with different snowflakes from my opening spread. The thing I love about snowflakes is they're each so intricate and unique, so you can draw them in so many different ways, and really any way you draw them, there's no right or wrong way. Moving on to my weekly spread, I'm going to try a couple different techniques that I haven't used in the past. One of them is going to be separating each day of the week with a 3D box, and then also using negative space and black and white to really make the number for each day of the week pop off the page. I started by drawing 6 small boxes about 4 by 4 for each number of the day of the week. I divided those boxes by giving each a horizontal line at the very top of each box. Then I colored in that top part of the box with a different color for each day of the week. And in the bottom part of the box, I'm going to write each of the numbers of the day of the week in bubble letters. I combined Saturday and Sunday into one box so that I could save space on this spread. And this is something that I would encourage anyone to do if they're looking to save space and also keep things really neat and organized. After I drew all of the bubble letters, I filled in the space around each letter in the box with a black marker. Then I drew boxes around each of the small boxes that were about 18 boxes wide and 11.5 boxes tall, but making sure not to intersect the small box and leave about 1 box in between the small boxes and the large boxes. I gave each of the larger boxes a drop shadow and colored in that drop shadow with the same color I used for the top of each small box. After that, I gave each large box a couple bullet points that I'll use for appointments and reminders and any other things I want to take note on for each day of the week. I made sure to color in those bullet points with the same color that I colored in the drop shadow and the top of the small box for that day. In the space towards the right, I drew 2 boxes, each with a drop shadow, and in that box, I wrote notes and goals in bubble letters. I made a mistake on notes and forgot the S, so I took my whiteout and made an S. I wrote December vertically in the space towards the left and wrote 1-7 with Art Deco style fonts to the right of December. I then decorated the entire spread with snowflakes that are featured in both of the previous spreads. For this mood tracker, I'm going to go crazy with snowflakes. Each snowflake is a little bit different than the last, and there are so many different variations, which is what makes it great for this mood tracker because each snowflake is going to represent a day of the month. I started the mood tracker by drawing 31 snowflakes, starting at the bottom right corner and making my way up to the top of the page. I took advantage of the many variations of snowflakes and made each row of snowflakes a little bit different. I made sure to leave the inside of the snowflake open because that's where I will write each number of the day of the month. So after I finished drawing all of my snowflakes, I numbered them 1 through 31 in the center of each. At the top left, I made a key with 6 different emotions. I gave each emotion a different color. Then I wrote mood tracker at the top left of the page in a bold script font. To use this spread, I picked an overall emotion I was feeling on each particular day and colored in that snowflake with the corresponding color of the emotion. I'm gonna move on now to my habit tracker. The winter is the worst time for me to practice all of my habits because all I want to do is stay inside and snuggle up in a blanket, but this tracker is going to motivate me to get out there and get all of my good habits done, like taking my vitamins and exercising and eating right, all those great things that I really want to keep in check even during the winter. First, I drew 7 mini calendars, each with 8 days instead of 7 because 8 fits better in the overall spread. I use a Bombay book, so this works well, but you may have to adjust your mini calendars depending on which journal you're using. While I was drawing each calendar, I made sure to give them a horizontal box at the top. I colored in each horizontal box at the top of each calendar with a different color. That color will act as the specific color for the habit that I labeled that calendar as. I then numbered each calendar 1 through 31 and labeled each calendar with a different habit. I chose drinking water, exercise, eating healthy, taking vitamins, reading, self-care, and drawing, but you can use whatever habits you want to track. Then I wrote habit tracker at the top of the page in a bold script font and decorated the entire page with snowflakes that are featured in all of the previous spreads for this month. To use this spread, whenever I practice a habit like eating healthy or reading or any of these habits, I'm going to take the specific color I used for that habit and mark the days I completed that habit. So I've completed my December setup and all I want to do now is sit by the fire and snuggle up with my bullet journal and fill it all in. And I can't wait to see what all of you guys do for your December themes this month, so make sure to comment below because I want some more inspiration. But before you get started on your December monthly, make sure to subscribe to 17's YouTube channel so that you don't miss out on any of our future bullet journaling tips and tricks. See you next week.